Hello everyone, welcome to the GonzoEwok gaming channel. I'm Ewok.
I'm Gonzo.
And if you stuck through us through the last very unprofessional video that we came up with, thank you for sticking with us this far. It was very much our first attempt at any sort of let's play or anything like that. And we went into this with one idea, and I think that was sort of pure Gonzo coverage, no editing, no fixing, no matter how bad it is, so congratulations.
No matter how unprofessional or shit it may have been, as it transpired.
There were some moments. I mean, the end was a little abrupt, wasn't it?
Yeah, your girlfriend walked in on us as we were kind of putting the finishing touches to the episode, didn't she?
I felt like we've been caught doing something we shouldn't have been doing, which is strange, really.
I would hope a majority of adults are watching. It felt as though Ewok's girlfriend walked in and were kind of watching porn. It kind of felt like.
He used my real name, you see, and we can't edit that out. It's just a shame, really.
I personally think we can start this whole fucking thing again. Let's just delete and wipe.
Delete, wipe? No way, let's keep going. So, where were we last time? We were on day 2 of the survival of Max Bot.
We were indeed. It was a bit of a shaky start there for a little bit of time.
Yeah, you got scratched.
Get scratched.
Has around about a 25% chance of catching the zombie infection, which is incurable. It'll kill you. How long does it take? About 36 hours?
About that, yeah. A couple of days if you keep yourself well fed. You'll last a little bit longer, but yeah, it's a death sentence basically.
Yeah, but that happened on, I think it was at some point during the second day you got the bite. But despite that, we managed to get some pretty good loot.
Yeah, we managed to turn things around, managed to find somewhere that we could potentially call home, managed to get the basics that we might need for a little bit of construction, get some food together. It's been a few days since we came back to the save file, so we'll have to jump in and have a look.
Well, when Max woke up, he wasn't sick, so it's a good chance he's avoided the zombie virus, which means we're in a pretty good position now. We've actually got a place to live, and I think we're going to focus on getting that sorted, maybe doing a couple of supply runs to get some food, see if we can get some materials to barricade up the safe house. May even involve a bit of zombie combat, because there were quite a few munchers around the actual building itself, leaving it a bit unsafe.
You call them munchers makes them sound a little bit suspicious if you ask me. Probably not the best term in zombie canon to describe a zombie as a muncher, but
you know, brain muncher is what I meant. I don't know what else you could possibly think I was implying.
If there's any writers of zombie fiction, movies, games out there that are listening to this, you can have munchers for free. I think that's fair to say.
Yeah, that's my gift to you.
Okay, then, so just while we're having a little bit of a chat here, I'm going to double check the inventory, see what we kind of picked up. Suppose start getting some gear unloaded into the house as well.
Yeah, I suppose you can start sticking it in the cupboards, since we're going to call this place home. But it's 8 o'clock in the morning. It's a fairly reasonable time. Sun's up. Shouldn't be too bad going out and going for some supplies. Unlike last time when Max went to bed at 7:30 and woke up at 2 o'clock in the morning. Had to go out in the dark. You get flashlights in this game?
You can get flashlights. You need to find batteries for them as well. If you equip them in your secondary slot and you press F, it's a hotkey, and that'll get your flashlight working as well.
So that would be pretty useful 2 days ago.
Yeah, I mean, it certainly would have been. I mean, I personally don't tend to go for flashlights. I don't place a huge amount of value in them generally because, oh, well, there we go, speak of the devil, we have got one. I don't tend to go out at night if I can possibly avoid it, but we know we've got one here if we need one.
Fair enough.
I do believe, you'll have to jog my memory here, we did check the house.
Yeah, we checked the house. There was a zombie in the bathroom, a zombie and a dead body. You said you were never going to open that door again.
I was just thinking that, yeah, there was some sort of like slug at the back of my brain said do not go in that door, so we'll kind of leave that for now.
Yeah, I had to change change my underwear after that one, because you walked into the bathroom and grabbed hold of you, and I thought that was it. I thought it was game over, which would have been a disastrous way. 45 minutes into the first video.
I do actually remember after we recorded, you were like, that wasn't something that you were playing up for the purposes of the video. You generally do a little bit of a panic, there, don't you?
Well, it's the sound as well when like, the zombie grabs you and it comes on and gives you that ding sound. It really gets you. I think we've zoomed in a bit now, which is quite useful, because it was a little bit difficult to see. We're playing on a pretty big TV screen here, and I don't think we'd appreciated what it was going to be like on a smaller computer monitor. It seems to be fairly viewable, but this seems to be a much better viewpoint. Let's get a better view of Max himself, really, as well.
Good old Max, good old Nordic Max with his huge moustache there as well, looking a bit like a blonde Tom Selleck.
I've got to be honest, I quite like the little sort of hairy chest patch he's got going on. He's looking very manly.
He's a very manly person.
Wandering around shirtless in his jeans with his axe.
Would you expect anything else from Max Pop though?
Not really, no.
No, of course not. So we'll zoom out just to kind of get a little bit of spatial awareness there, zooming right out for a bit of a second.
So, sort of clearing out everyone who's in the immediate perimeter. I'm not sure we checked inside that little garage sort of outhouse sort of place.
It's a very good point. We'll go and see if we can have a bit of a look now. I think we've no, he's quite happy just to stand next to the fence.
Cheeky look through the window, very clever.
Door might be open.
Yeah, I mean, once you've established it's clear, most people tend to use doors over windows.
So we've got a hammer in here. Got some nails. I mean, we can take them.
Yeah, we've got a few in the house. I think you've got a hammer in there as well, don't you?
Yeah. Got a box of nails there. So we're doing pretty good. Once we can.
You did get a saw, I think, so we could cut down some trees.
We could do. What do we reckon? I mean, we really haven't sort of discussed what we're going to do. Personally speaking, the way that I reckon we should play is that we haven't got a huge amount of food in the house, and I think that's going to cause a problem. And I think before we start looking at kind of fortifying the house and working out what we want to do here with a safe house, we should maybe look at just making sure we've got a few extra supplies in.
No, that's fair enough. A supply run is a good way forward. It's a risk either way. You could go for a supply run and the house could get smashed to bits, or you could board the house up and then starve to death. So I think either way has got its risks. But at least if you've got food in your backpack, if the house gets smashed to bits, you can bug out and get somewhere else.
Yeah, this is it. So I think it makes good survival sense. Is that a zombie wearing a skirt with a beard? It certainly kind of looks like it.
Is it? Yeah.
God, what an unfortunate thing to be doing as the zombie apocalypse hits.
I mean, this isn't set in Scotland, so we couldn't justify it saying it's a kill.
Also, I've thrown in some comments about munchers that are maybe questionable, and now you're just going to attack the Scots as well.
Actually, it was me that did munchers as well. So, that's an interesting point, actually, or at least it was before I completely lost track. Okay, now that they're dead, the zombies themselves, are they sort of generated out of random parts? Are they individual creations in themselves, or do you not know?
I'm not 100% sure. I think there's a lot of variety within clothing. I think it kind of works off like kind of a palette kind of system. So there's sprites for different clothes, and there can be a lot of different colours. But to what extent we've got zombies walking around with beards and skirts, I don't know how common that is. It's not something I've seen a lot of, I'll be honest.
I'm just more wondering if each individual zombie model is one whole creation that somebody's designed, or if it's just a sum of several components that are randomly put together.
I could be completely wrong, but I think it's a sum of different parts. However, this will probably all be moot in the kind of the coming weeks as well, because there's a big update dropping with 3D sprites in as well. Oh God!
Don't look at me when zombies are climbing through the window.
Oh dear God!
This could be it.
Max Bot, what have you done? That wasn't my fault.
I don't think you got. Did you get scratched there? There's
yeah,
a blood icon.
I'm scratched and I'm bleeding. Oh, bitten and bleeding.
So that's it.
Yeah. So.
So we got too carried away with the chit chat. You looked at me. I think that goes to prove how quickly a game of Zomboid could be over.
Right.
So we've probably got about 2 days now before Max dies.
If we're lucky, and he's bleeding out fairly quickly. So I'm gonna go and see if I can find. Did we put anything useful in the bathroom?
I believe you made some bandages at some point. You tore a sweater into some bandages.
Okay, yeah. So bitten on the upper right arm. Slinging a bandage on there. Let's just see what happens. So we're bandaged. Need to eat some food, but to be honest, I mean, you can in theory survive a bite, but
have you ever survived a bite?
No. To be honest, until we actually were recording last time, I'd only survived I think maybe 2 or 3 scratches. I've got shit bad luck when it comes to playing video games in general, but Zomboid just seems to hate us with a passion.
I think the moral of the story here is that try not to look at me when I'm talking at you. If we die here, I guess we're just gonna have to start again. Hopefully we'll have a better start than last time.
Fingers crossed. Okay, we'll just we'll eat some food. Don't know if we've got any. We did have painkillers, didn't we? What did I do with them? There they are. So yeah, unfortunately, chances are it's curtains for Poor MaxBot. It raises a question about what we do next time, because of course what we can do is we can create a new character from this save file and jump back into this world, and if we can find this house, all of MaxBot's loot will be there. So that's one option we've got, but of course that means that a few days have passed, so after a few days the water and the electricity will run out and that'll still be going on. So
is there a chance if you come back here that you will find Max himself as a zombie?
Again, I'm not 100% sure. I know on previous builds you would see after your character died, if they died of like zombification, they would come back. And during the game over screen you'd see them kind of getting up and shambling around. And I think that's something that will make a reappearance at some point, but it's been taken out for the time being. I say really what we should probably do, because we've got some pretty good loot, and I've still got some faith in this safe house as well. Personally, I think that we should kind of dump some of our gear, maybe take that shotty ground, blow a bunch of them away, try and clear maybe some of the surrounding area.
Well, you never know, this could be the first time you survive the bite. Do you really want to lose that chance? Perhaps what we could do is, if we're gonna restart and use this save, maybe go out and do a supply run now and bring as much as we can back here before Max kicks the bucket.
It's not a bad idea, to be honest. And
take the shotgun with you, and if things go to shit, then the triumphant last stand it'll be.
It's a pretty good point. I mean, I think, you know, we can drop a lot of the stuff that we won't need on a supply run in here, just
in case he doesn't make it back.
Got the backup. Oh, shotguns. Oh, they don't weigh too much. Looks as though my hammer collections came on in leaps and bounds there as well. So yeah, if we're loading as a new survivor and we're going to play in the area, to be honest, probably what I'm going to do, because axes, they're not incredibly rare anymore like they used to be, but it's a pain in the arse if you haven't got one. So
you're going to save the axe and take the baseball bat instead?
Yeah, leave the axe here, take the baseball bat.
That's not a bad plan.
I'm not really particularly worried about organising anything here. I think just kind of the stuff, we can just pile it into the cupboards and hopefully we'll...
well, it's a bit of a cheap way to go and to give ourselves a head start in that way, but I don't think anyone's going to want to sit through another 45-minute first steps video after we've pissed away the life of Max.
I'm thinking the other side of things is as well, there is some balance there, because if we've been alive for 3 days, you know, and maybe a couple of weeks' time the water and the electricity will start shutting off, so at the same time we're going to start with some pretty good loot, provided we can get back to the house, but then the water and the electricity will turn off, and unless we've maybe got a bit of a farm going and we've got some fortification, we've got some decent supplies, that new survivor's still going to be in a bit of a tricky position, even if we do manage to get back here, really.
Do you know your way around from here?
Vaguely, I get lost fairly easily, I'll be honest. I've spent a lot of time staring at the map and a lot of time just kind of running around. Still get lost a fair bit though.
Well, it is a big map.
It is.
Have you ever ran from one side of the map to the other just to see how long
it takes?
Not yet.
I'm hoping longer term there'll be some Steam achievements, and I'd like to think that would be one of them. But no, I've never personally attempted it myself. I believe it takes something like 2 solid days of in-game time to do. So I suppose really what we should do...
How many zombies are in that house?
I mean, the windows are all kicked in.
You're just going blaze of glory here, are you?
It's more the thunder. Oh no, no!
Okay. Now, if you weren't going to die...
oh, he's too badly injured. He's getting insurance, I think. Oh.
Well, I can't say I'm impressed at that.
That wasn't a throw, that wasn't a deliberate manoeuvre to get myself killed. Yeah, I just kind of got overwhelmed. But it does, I mean, it demonstrates a very good point, which is that things can happen very quickly turn south as well. So I'm thinking probably what we'll need to do, because I believe that the game's going to crash back to the desktop once we're finished with this. So I think probably what we'll need to do is pause recording for a second.
Right, okay.
Load up a new game, so I suppose we'll be back in a minute.
Yeah, we will sign out and we will be back with you momentarily. We apologise for the technical difficulties there. Welcome back to GonzoEwok's feed of Project Zomboid. This is part 2. Unfortunately, Maxbot, our initial protagonist, has just met an unseemly end at the hands of the Horde. So we're going to start a new game at this time and try and pick up from where he left off, rather than start again from scratch. So we're going to create a new character. What's the name of this character?
So we were having a bit of a chat there just while we were getting things set back up for a new game. So we're going to go with Nuno Sausage.
It's pronounced Sasage. Nuno Sasage. That's S-A-U-S-A-G-E. Sasage.
There we go. Okay, I'm thinking kind of... Yeah, I think that looks quite good. We'll just keep as is.
Yeah, I think we better whiz through this. We've already done the character generation bit. So, what, we're going for the same again? Construction worker?
I think so. I think construction worker. We'll take strong. We'll take brooding.
You went for thick-skinned last time. That didn't seem to help.
It might have helped with that scratch, but yeah, I mean, being chewed on by a handful, it's probably not the best. Okay, we'll see how we get on with this then.
So, fingers crossed, we are going to start pretty close to the safe house that Max had started building.
If not, I mean, we'll spend a little bit of time. We'll need to get some basic equipment for Nuno here. We'll get him set up with some equipment, and then by all means should be able to find the house. It's fairly easy to find once you kind of work out whereabouts in town you are, but it might take a little bit of time.
If anyone didn't watch the last video, it's Kate and Boldspot's house, isn't it, from the original demo, or at least we believe it's that particular house. It certainly looks like it.
Okay. So, I believe actually we could use this garbage bag as like a makeshift bag. It's a bit crappy, but we'll take that for one of it.
Better than nothing. There was a butter knife there as well to combat the Horde with.
We can use it at a push. Do you reckon we should just take it? It's better than nothing, isn't it?
I suppose it's better than nothing. It'll do until we get something else. We're going to check out that house immediately up from the position and hope for something a little bit better.
I'm taking a fork. Fuck you all. I'm taking a fork.
Well, it's upstairs yet, you never know. Somebody might have kept an axe up there in case of emergencies.
Let's look if there's anything in here.
I think there's never any zombies in the starting house. That would be a bit of a cheap way to go.
Yeah, I haven't seen it happen. Sometimes you can have a lot outside, but not usually in the house, I don't think.
Now, you should take the toothbrush and toothpaste because there's no reason to let a zombie apocalypse get in the way of good oral hygiene.
I've got to be honest, Matt, oral hygiene isn't particularly great at the best of times, never mind during an apocalypse. Okay, so we're in a suburban area here.
I think you've just created or rather contributed to a massive stereotype against us Brits, actually. I think you should really be ashamed of yourself.
It's quite alright. It's not racist if it's about myself, surely. It's better than Munches or Scots wearing kilts or skirts, as it was actually in the video.
Well, yeah, I mean they do wear kilts. I don't think anyone would object to that. Okay, that's probably a bad thing, is it?
Yeah, that's the house alarm going off. It looks as though this is actually a fairly quiet part of town, though.
Yeah, let's just stay here. There ain't a zombie in sight.
For general pride
I can hear
reasons,
a zombie.
For general pride reasons, and so I can try and make up for the shame of my last performance. We're definitely going to see if we can find Kate and Boldspot's house. It's kind of got to be done.
Yeah, stab him with that fork.
Yeah, the fork broke fairly quickly, but...
Well, hopefully the house alarm will actually work to distract the zombies and take them over to the house next door rather than the one you're at. Yeah,
I mean, the actual radius where the alarm goes off does tend to attract a fair few zombies. Fill this up. Get rid of that broken fork as well.
And you've got the frying pan equipped there. That'll be a little bit more handy.
Yeah, to be honest, generally when I'm playing, when I'm not recording, the frying pan tends to be kind of my go-to weapon until I can get my hands on something like an axe or like a baseball bat.
We did pick up a frying pan with Max, didn't we, just before we found the baseball bat?
I think so, yeah. I had a frying pan.
Oh, is that a medical centre?
Yeah.
Well, this is going to be a good place to loot. It must have took ages to hand build this map, especially if they used the editing tools that got released to the public.
Yeah, I've been playing around with them a little bit in my spare time as well. I've kind of built a couple of buildings from our mutual hometown, but it takes a good period of time. It took us about 2.5 hours to get used to just kind of how they work, and it's still kind of a little bit unuser friendly if you don't know what you're doing. And I'm not somebody that does a lot of modding or mapping or anything like that. But it's really good fun to use as well, you know. It's something that I'm kind of picking up on, and fingers crossed at some point I'll be able to kind of start building a little bit of a map of some of the towns up here in northeast England as well.
I mean, it's good of the developers to sort of release those tools, because it's a game that's crying out for sort of mods and user-created content.
Totally.
I mean, with it having the one big map, it does give it a lot of replay value, especially since a lot of the sort of loot and the zombies and stuff like that are randomly generated, but opening up the mapping tool to the public basically creates unlimited possibilities for the people who are willing to invest the time. And I think if things like the Steam Workshop or anything to go by, then I think that's evidence that there are plenty of those people out there,
yeah, and
who
to
are
be
willing
fair,
to spend their time building things that they love in games for other people to play.
I mean, to be fair as well, on the Steam forums and on the sort of the official forums as well, there's already a really good kind of modern scene within the game as well. I haven't really touched on that many mods. Maybe that's something that we're going to have a look at a future date, maybe, if there's any interest in doing it.
It's one of the things I love about PC gaming, really. I mean, I'm not a PC elitist, and I don't look down on console peasants, as they call them. I've got all the consoles myself, and I love playing on them. But I think that the modern scene brings a sort of level of replayability that you just don't get in the AAA console titles. It's the reason why when I came to buy Skyrim, there was absolutely no competition in terms of what platform I got it on, because I knew that from the previous Elder Scroll games that the modern community was just going to really enrich the game.
Yeah, and to be honest, I had that same kind of dialogue with myself just after I bought it for my PlayStation, and started messing around with it, you know, and that was absolutely fine. And then saw all these amazing things coming up on Steam Workshop, especially for Skyrim, and thought, you know, I've probably made a mistake here, but now I can't bring myself to go out and buy a copy on the PC. Just really can't justify going out and buying the same game twice.
Oh, I don't know about that. I think I bought maybe 5 copies of Oblivion, because I originally had an Xbox. I didn't have a gaming PC at the time, so I bought it on the Xbox. Then the Game of the Year edition came out, so I bought the Game of the Year edition on the Xbox. And then I bought a PlayStation 3, and I ended up buying it on the PS3 just because I was so lazy that I didn't want to switch the cables around at the back of the TV when I wanted to play it. And then I got the PC, so I bought it on the PC. How are we up to now? 4. And
I think so.
Yeah, okay, maybe I only bought it 4 times rather than 5 times, but that's still a lot of times to buy a single game.
In fact, I think you gave me a copy of Game of the Year edition on 360, maybe?
Tell a lie, I remember I did buy 5. The second copy I bought was to replace the first copy because I knocked the Xbox over and scratched the disc a bit.
I'm just having a little minor panic attack here as well. There's a quick zombie that just seems fairly relentless and grabbed a hold of us, and I couldn't seem to beat the thing away here.
It's getting quite late. You probably want to try and find somewhere to lay your head. Did you find any food?
I've got a little bit of food here. Picked some up from one of the houses that we're in just as we started.
I think he's starting to lose interest. Well, he's pretty relentless, isn't he?
Okay. I don't think we're too far away from the house, but unfortunately I'm having a bit of a brain fart and I can't quite work out where exactly we are.
We are a bit in the middle of nowhere. Not much in terms of property around. I mean, it means there's not a great deal of zombies around, but it means that there's a bit of a problem in finding a place to rest. Do you need a bed to rest? I take it you do.
Beds ideally, but sometimes if you can find like chairs and what have you can sleep on those, so I'm hoping.
Because we seem to be in more of a commercial area now. I say commercial area, we seem to be in the arse end of nowhere, but there is a laundromat. You curl up inside one of the washing machines and maybe have a nap in there.
It's some horrible statistics about people doing that and the things being turned on. Oh, there's a house over there as well. There we go. We seem to have caught a bit of a lucky break here as well. There's not been that many zombies really as we've been walking around, is there?
No, it's fairly calm in this side of town, really. But saying that, do you really want to jinx it by saying things are going smoothly? Oh, there you go. Oh, that's a lovely beard.
Lustrous beard that he's rocking here.
Can you use a pencil as a weapon?
I don't think so, no.
Ah, that's a shame. What about carrots? Can you use carrots as weapons? I saw an awful film with Clive Owen in it called Shoot 'Em Up where he used carrots as a weapon.
I shouldn't think how you would use a carrot as a weapon.
Okay, so it's now 30
Oh.
minutes past midnight. The music has gone a bit dramatic. Any particular reason?
I think it's just kind of situational. Like, it's, you know, as you're saying, there's a lot of zombies around. There's an alarm going off. It's dark. I think there's probably a few more coming down in this kind of direction as well from the woodland. I'll try not to just slam the door or slam the window even. Let's have a bit of a look. Fingers crossed. If there's not many zombies, so it might be okay to kind of hold up in here. It's getting late. I can hear them.
I can hear them. I don't think there's much options though. I don't think you're going to find a better place. There's no window in that bedroom, is there?
I can't see one, no. Okay, we'll go to sleep and see what things are like after a bit of a nap.
Okay, fingers crossed that Nuno makes it through the night. Oh, I can hear growling. Doesn't do much to put you at ease, this game. Okay, that's noise.
Yeah, I think the atmosphere is usually fairly bleak, fairly depressing. I think it captures that kind of spot on. It's a big draw for the game for myself. Oh my god, we slept with a zombie in the cupboard. Blankets and purple paint.
And this is why it's usually a good idea to check through the house before you decide to go to sleep in the bed.
Yeah, if anything, really, the recording that we're doing today is more about how not to play the game, I think, really.
And how not to survive in a zombie apocalypse.
Yeah. I think what we've learnt, really, is that despite all what kind of we're sort of talks about how would you survive the zombie apocalypse, I think most people sit down and usually discuss it at some point. I think what we've learnt is that
We wouldn't
be a fucking liability in that situation. Oh god, it sounds like somebody's feeding kittens into a blender. So these are probably all the munchers that have been attracted from that alarm going off by the looks of it. We'll just let them kind of hang around there.
Yeah, I don't think it's worth picking a fight with those guys. So, any idea in which direction Kate and Baldspot's house lies? Are we randomly walking here, or do you think you're going in the right direction?
It's this side of town, but it's a big town. So, keep looking. I mean, we're finding houses here. We're kind of, I think, moving in the right direction. We may have overshot it. I've got a feeling it's a little bit further north, just kind of up in this direction.
Is the worry not that rather than just find and establish a safe house, we're going to get killed desperately trying to find this one just to sort of vindicate Max?
That is a consideration, but I'm thinking, fuck it, we're going to go for it anyway.
Yeah, why the hell not?
I mean, there's a lot of players do enjoy kind of being more kind of nomadic, you know, not really that sort of wrapped up in the farming or the construction or the crafting side of things, and just enjoy kind of exploring the map and having a bit of a look around and, you know, kind of move from house to house. I think that's fair enough.
I mean, it seems to be a fairly big deal for players to try and become as self-sufficient as possible. But I suppose in reality there's going to be that much food lying around in a map of such size that you could quite easily live the scavenging lifestyle for quite a while. I think maybe water might become a concern once the plumbing shuts off.
Yeah,
but even then, that's quite a way into things, isn't it?
It is. I mean, that can usually happen anywhere from, like, I think it's a couple of weeks to maybe a couple of months. And there's, you know, some randomness to when it happens. But even then, even when the water turns off, you can still usually get a couple of drinks out of like the taps. You know, the idea there might be a little bit of water left in the pipework of a house, so you might be able to get like a bit of a drink out of the taps. Even if you need to, you can drink out of toilets. So even then, if there's a lot of houses around, you can still keep yourself going for quite a bit of time. With a bit of carpentry, you can build like a sort of a rain collector as well. You can collect rainwater. So there's still ways of doing it, but you know, it looks as though we're heading across church, which is making us think that actually we're a little bit further south than I thought we were.
But you'll be safe in there, because if the zombies try and walk in, surely they'll burst into flames.
I believe I've seen that happen to yourself before as well.
Alright, you've got a lot of moodlets coming up. I think you're thirsty.
Yeah.
You are freaking out. You're doing well at hiding that with your really aggressive zombie beating here.
To be honest, I'm still trying to avenge Max. I cannot believe he's gone.
It wasn't the best run.
It was just a pathetic way for him to go as well. I should have just listened to my gut reaction instead of listening to, oh, we should just go on one more scavenging run and that will all be fine.
Oh yes, just try and blame me here. You're the guy who's got the mouse and keyboard.
I was also the guy that had a shotgun and was persuaded not to use it until it was too late. We'll take this pistol as case in point. Yeah, we need some food.
Yeah, I advised not to use it until it was too late, but you waited until after it was too late before making a consideration. Oh god, that's a tough bastard.
Oh no.
Okay,
what?
Well, I expect you've been scratched there.
I expect he's been absolutely ripped. 3 scratches. Oh man, that's not good. Okay.
There's maybe 20% chance that you're going to survive this one.
If that. Left hand, right hand and head.
Oh god.
It's all gone to tits.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for watching our Let's Play of Project Zomboid.
We're fine, have some faith. It's not a bite, it's a scratch. We may just be able to make it out.
You see, this is what your reckless aggression gets you.
That was hardly reckless aggression, I just got fucked by somebody on a couch by the looks of it.
Yeah, but you didn't look through the windows or anything. You could have done a look around the house, checked what was inside.
Well, all these things could have been done and yet they weren't, and yet this is where we'll find ourselves, and there's no point in recriminations, there's no point in trying to play the blame game there. I think we just need to...
Well, I have perfect 20/20 vision when it comes to hindsight, and I'm perfectly able to tell you what you should have done after it's happened.
Still, we're kind of in a bit of a bad spot again. There's actually a lot of similarities with... Well, there's some blood on the floor here.
It is a bit of a bad spot, but I don't think this is necessarily the end. I certainly don't think it's going well.
To be honest, I mean, I'm seeing a lot of similarities between this run and the run that we had last time as well. If we think there were some shaky points there wasn't 3 scratches, but there was 1 and we survived it, so there's still some room for optimism for the immediate future, I think.
Well, Nuno's a very robust chap.
Yeah.
I mean, I've known Nuno to overcome tremendous odds in the past. There was a time he jumped onto that boat of sword-wielding maniacs. He came out of that one alright.
There was. There's a rich and varied story to Nuno that nobody knows. Need some water.
Yes, quite desperately.
Let's just zoom out here. So we're coming on the trailer park now.
I
believe this was the trailer park where Max spawned in, wasn't it?
Yeah, that little store there with the open sign in front of it. I'm not sure if we encountered that in the first run through, but it does look familiar. And yeah, Max's beginnings did begin in the trailer park, which means we're quite a distance further south, away from Kate and Boldspot's house. You're going to grab a quick drink in the kitchen sink and then bail out.
Yeah. Okay. There we go. Sometimes you'll have seen there, I couldn't actually right click on the sink. A lot of players have that sometimes when you're zooming in and zooming out. Pardon me. you find that can actually kind of knock your mouse recognition off a little bit. If you just play around with the zoom a little bit, though, you can see there you can get it back up and working. If it really gets that bad, sometimes you have to restart the game, but it's something hopefully it'll be fixed soon.
When you say restart the game, I presume you mean turn it off and on again rather than lose your save.
Yeah, try and make sure that you've got the game saved up somewhere local as well.
So how long, I'm sure I've asked this before, but how long before the sickness comes in when you get infected?
I think a few hours. If we see out the rest of today, Nuno goes to bed. If he's not ill the following day, hopefully that's a good sign.
Is it running around and getting into all this action not going to increase the chances?
I don't think it'll increase the chances of infection, but yeah, if you're injured, you'd do what you would do in real life. You would make sure that you're kind of well fed, you would rest up, you would take it easy.
Now, he doesn't seem to be in any pain, so it seems that the scratches themselves and the injuries were quite minor.
Fingers crossed. And sometimes you'll see there's like a Moodle will come up to say that he's a little bit nervous or that he's anxious as well, and usually that's a bad sign that that he might have been infected as well. It might be like a bit of an early warning sign. Not always, but sometimes. Let's do this cheese.
Now, whoever owns this house has put their banana in the fridge, and I think it's important to point out that that's not a particularly good idea, because when a banana decays, it releases potassium, which can contaminate the rest of your food. So ideally, people, zombie apocalypse or no, I would advise that you keep your bananas separate from the rest of your foods. Don't even put them in the same fruit bowl as the rest of your fruit if you can. If you can avoid it, give them their own separate area in the kitchen where they can breathe.
I think that was a point very well made, if you don't mind us saying, Ewok.
Well, we're here to educate as well as entertain.
How not to play Zomboid and how also to store your bananas.
You know, I'm starting to feel okay now. A couple of hours have passed. He's not feeling sick. He's not even feeling depressed or in pain or anything. Could you really have got away with it?
If we're not infected, that's probably the luckiest break that I've ever caught in playing Project Zomboid, and I've got a good few hours into the game, even though you wouldn't think that I do the way that I'm playing at present.
Well, you've survived for a couple of months before, haven't you?
Yeah, I think my personal record, I think, is around about 4 months.
I mean, theoretically, with the crafting and the water collection and the possibilities of farming, theoretically it's possible to survive forever, but I seriously doubt that anyone will ever have a game that goes beyond maybe 6 months, maybe a year if they're super lucky and extremely talented. But inevitably you're going to make one mistake, and in a game like this, one mistake is all it takes before you hit with that game over screen.
Yeah, and I think that's really one of the things that appeals to us. It's not like the game kind of goes out there and kind of punishes you and says kind of, oh fuck you, there you go, and throws some event at you that causes a problem. It's much more about if you're playing kind of like I've been playing sort of up to this point as well, I'm a little bit too aggressive, maybe taking a few extra risks than I probably should do. Well then, yeah, you're going to be punished, but it's kind of like you're punishing yourself. It's because of the mistakes that you've actually made, the choices that you've made, that'll come back to haunt you.
Yeah, I mean, whenever you die, it's your own fault, and there's nobody else to blame. Like leaving the window open, for example, is probably a bad thing to do.
It probably is, but this is a bit of a smash and grab.
I think that there have been comments on some of the forums about people who feel like they've been sort of cheated and died for no particular reason. Inevitably, it tends to be because they're new players and the game's quite difficult to understand when you first start. So, for example, there's people who say, "Oh, I've been killed by an invisible zombie. I didn't see anything." That could be because you're not facing towards the zombie. Something bites you from behind. It's a game where you have to be very aware of your surroundings, not just visually. You have to keep an eye out for those sort of audio cues. You can hear a zombie sneaking up behind you. I know a common one is people complaining because they drink bleach and then a couple of hours later they just drop down dead and they don't see the connection.
Yeah, that's
it's a bit of a joke, isn't it, on the forums?
It is, yeah, and I think usually when somebody comes on and is posting up some sort of tech support about random deaths, it's kind of became the running joke. I think.
Did you drink the bleach?
Did you drink?
I've
the
seen
bleach?
people actually trying to troll people a little bit on the forums. I mean, it seems to be in fairly good humour. It's when people are saying, "Oh, is there any way to survive getting infected with the zombie virus?" People go, "Yeah,
bleach.
drink the bleach." I suppose it's a little cruel, but these people are going to die anyway. And
and I think
stupid enough to drink bleach, you get what's coming to you, don't you?
I think that's the thing. It's how do you want to face it as well, and it's kind of that same dilemma that we had with our previous Survivor Max there as well. It's okay, then I'm bitten here. There's a good chance I'm not going to survive. How am I going to go out here? Am I going to go out with the shotgun and blazing glory? Am I going to, just kind of walk off into the wilderness? And I think, longer term, once NPCs come back in, the whole mechanic, and it's something really common in a lot of sort of zombie fiction, zombie games, the idea of if you're infected, to what extent are you going to try and protect and safeguard your group? Are you just going to walk out one day? You're going to try and hide it and not want to kind of fess up to what's going on? I think there's some really good dynamics around kind of the infection and how you want to kind of meet your end.
I think I'd be tempted to down a whole bottle of painkillers and then drink the bleach on top of it just to get it over quickly. I mean, it must be quite devastating, the fact that it's a slow death, especially if it's a game that you've invested time in and that you think is going really well.
Totally.
You've got yourself a safe house and the cupboards are stocked with food and weapons and you've boarded up all the windows, you've built your water catchers, and then the next thing you know, you're bitten. Your game isn't going to be over for another 36 hours of game time, but your game is over. That's just how you meet that, really, isn't it?
It is. Man, I know I'm being quiet here, but I'm just trying to double back because I'm sure we're close to the house because we just passed the large warehouse a minute or two ago.
I thought it was slightly... Oh, hang on.
There we go.
Are we here?
I think we are. I thought you would make it.
And I was just about to try and give you directions and say you were going the wrong place.
No,
what I was going to say is I think you've just passed it. I think it's just a tiny bit to the west of where you are and a little bit south. Yeah, there's all the dead zombies on the ground. That's a damn good sign.
Oh shit. And that's a helicopter, so that's another one of those sort of metagame events designed to sort of stir up the hordes and get the zombies moving.
Yeah, here we are. And there's the broken window. Excellent work, mate. I'm very impressed that you managed to find your way back here, considering the size of the map.
Me too. I think there was just a good bit of luck involved, but I think we're doing okay. So
well, you say that. It seems like we might have got away in terms of infection, but there is still the possibility that we've came here for naught. We've came here just to die.
Oh, what am I doing here? I'm putting... See, in this game, we had this discussion actually just before we started recording about where do you store eggs. I know we've discussed bananas so far on the playthrough here.
Yeah, I mean, there's the debate about whether eggs go in the fridge or eggs go in the cupboard. Now, I've always thought this was quite an odd one because I don't know if it's different in the States. I don't know if egg storage varies across the pond or for any other international people who might be watching this video. But over here, you buy eggs from the supermarket and they are on the counter, and they keep them on the counter and they sell them up to just before their best before date. So you would think they are stored in the counter, but it says on the side of the box of most eggs, keep refrigerated. That just doesn't make sense to me.
No, I'm personally very much in the camp of keeping eggs just in a cupboard. It's never really done any harm before.
Well, it's never done me any harm, so I'm going to put them in the bananas category and say that storage is sorted and we know what to do there.
Fantastic. I think we need to see if we can maybe draw up a list here as well. Maybe a
list of foods, or are we back to game talk now?
No, I think a list of foods and storage for random household items. I think we should do our part.
Well, what about your ketchup?
Ketchup.
Fridge or cupboard?
At my girlfriend's request, would keep ketchup in the fridge. Personally, I don't see the point. When I was a kid, my mum and dad would keep the ketchup just in a drawer, or they'd keep it in a cupboard. It would stay there for upwards of a year, never caused any harm. Personally, I don't see there being any problem here. You'll have seen I was kind of fanning on a little bit there. I've been trying to get a sheet up in that window. I'm not sure if I've knocked out my mouse recognition or not, but I'm struggling. Oh,
there we
do
go.
it there. Because I'm thinking, I kind of forgot, but we've got that broken window as well, and I'm not too keen on that, so that's maybe a prime candidate to get barricaded.
I mean, a sheet over it'll stop them from seeing in, but getting them barricaded is definitely going to be a one for the very near future, isn't it?
Yeah. I think what we should probably do is it's starting to get a little bit late. I think that's...
And do you not want to close the adjoining doors to at least give you a bit more time should somebody climb through that window?
That's a very good point.
I mean, I don't think they'll attack the doors unless they're pretty sure there's something on the other side. So if somebody climbs in through that window, they'll probably just mill around the living room with the barrier there.
See, there we go. See, I'm clicking slightly off to the left here, and it's asking about the door. So we're definitely having some issues here. We'll see if we can kind of work our way through them. So if we click over here, there we'll go, we're asleep.
Is it worth doing a restart so we can get the mouse back in sync? It is a bit of a pain in the arse, but again, we'll repeat for anyone who didn't watch the first video the caveat that this is an early access game, so we're very much playing the beta version, and what you're seeing here isn't going to be representative of any sort of final content really. Even now there's regular updates coming. Probably a good time to talk about the latest planned update in that case. They do regular announcement, the Indie Stone team, they do it on a Monday and they call it the Mondoid announcement. And you've been looking at the latest one, haven't you? It promises to add multiplayer potentially in the near future.
Yeah, I mean it's exciting news as well. Apparently it's something that's been in kind of like in sort of tests for a little bit of time as well, sort of on and off over the past couple of years apparently, and I think it's taken a lot of sort of new and older players completely by surprise. I mean, we didn't expect like multiplayer was going to be landing anytime soon. It's, you know, while the devs have never been kind of sort of like setting any kind of firm roadmap, I think a lot of community members, myself included, kind of thought, oh well, we'll probably see NPCs and then maybe further down the road then we're going to see multiplayer. But as it transpires, apparently they've managed to get multiplayer kind of up and working, and if you haven't seen it already, you should go and visit the Indie Stone's Project Zomboid website, see if we can put maybe a link in the description, and have a bit of a read through the Mondoid pages. The one that we're talking about is for the 20th of January. We're recording this on the Tuesday just following. But there's 3 videos, each about 15 minutes long, of some of the devs and some of the testers actually playing around with the multiplayer, and it looks amazing. I mean, it's one of them things we can talk about it a great deal, but really you just need to kind of go and see it and see what they're doing. And you know, they're not giving any kind of firm time scales to it, but kind of hoping that it'll be in maybe weeks, possibly a couple of months, rather than maybe the 2 or so years that I think some guys were kind of thinking that it might take. So really exciting times, really.
To be honest, I think it'll be a completely new dimension for the game, because it's a single player game which is entirely focused on just individual survival. Is going to be a completely different beast to playing on a multiplayer server, where you'll have things like trading to be an issue. You potentially have player killers. I know that it's been a bane of many games like sort of DayZ and things like that, but it certainly adds an interesting new element to the game. So it gives you a bit more of a sort of role-playing perspective. You can try and survive on your own, or you can try and get together with a group of people and pool and share resources and maintain a safe house, or you can just be the lone bandit who sort of operates by violence and theft, and it'll be a completely different experience than playing the game on your own.
Yeah.
I imagine that a lot of people find one particular mode. Some people might just be interested in the multiplayer, some people might just be interested in the single player, but I think it's something that I'd want to dip into a bit of both and treat them both as very separate entities.
Yeah, I mean, personally, when it comes to multiplayer, I'm not a huge fan of multiplayer games in general. I don't tend to play that many of them, but I'm excited to get my hands on Zomboid with other people and other community members as well. I think that's going to be a lot of fun, to be honest. I think reading about it, there should be a lot of kind of customization if you're going to be running a server or hopping onto a server as well. You know, where various server administrators are going to be able to sort of set their own kind of rules within the server, so they might actually disable PvP, or they might have it enabled, and I'm looking forward to perhaps seeing servers coming up that aren't kind of PvP, even though I think it adds a nice dimension to the game. I think really where a game like this can really kind of expand, I mean, we're not doing a great example here, but if you see some of the safe houses that people can build, and that's one person working by themselves, can you imagine if you've got maybe half a dozen people all chipping in or working together to build their safe house? I think that could be quite impressive.
Oh, I agree, absolutely. I mean, personally, I'm quite interested in the PvP element, not because I personally would go out and engage in that, just to think it would add a particular sense of danger, but the fact that it could potentially be so customizable means that anybody can go in for the game experience that they want.
Yeah.
And you could run several characters on different servers focused on a different experience. And you're right, the whole idea of building a community would be very interesting, particularly if the server support enough players that you could potentially have 2 or 3 different communities running on the same map, and sort of analysing how they interact with each other. It could be a bit of an interesting social experiment, if anything else.
Totally. Okay, then you'll have seen, just as we're having a little bit of a chat, we're getting sidetracked. I mean, obviously the multiplayer is worth talking about, you know, it's exciting times really, but as we've been having a bit of a chat, what I've been doing is just kind of getting some of the basic bits and pieces we're going to need together, and I'm thinking we need to barricade up that window. So I've made sure we've got the axe here, made sure we've got some nails, made sure we've got a hammer, and we're going to go and start cutting down just a few of these trees. So if we make a start just over here.
In terms of noise, is cutting down the trees going to make a lot of noise?
Yeah, I mean, it'll make a little bit of a racket, but we'll just deal with that as we come to it. I'm feeling much safer now that I've got this this axe in my hands.
And I think we can fairly safely say that those 3 scratches have not become infected, which is
I cannot believe it.
Miracle. I think that's certainly helping me have a bit more confidence in this playthrough. Although it was a bit of poor play to allow that to happen. No offense,
totally,
no
yeah.
offense, mate.
No, totally. We shouldn't have been scratched, and we certainly shouldn't have been scratched 3 times.
But despite the fact that there was a bit of poor play involved, I think this is the game's way of telling us that this is going to be the run through for us. This is going to be the good times, the happy times.
So you can see, I mean, there's really not much to comment on here. You can see we're just, you know, chopping down these trees while we've got the axe up. I'll need to go back and get the saw. We'll need to collect some of these logs up and start sawing these down into planks, and then we can use these planks to...
So it's very much a multi-stage process. You can't just chop a tree down and get planks. It's sort of the start of a fairly well-realised craft system.
Yeah, I mean, there's quite a bit of crafting that you can do as well, and hopefully, I mean, it looks as though we're getting to the point where we're going to start being able to do a bit of barricading. Maybe we'll start throwing up something a bit more substantial around the house, making it a little bit more defensible. So hopefully we'll kind of move on to that. You never know, by the end of the video we'll see how we're doing for time, I suppose.
I mean, there's already a pretty well established border with the picket fence around the house, just make it a little bit more defensible, and you've got enough space where you can put in, say, a small farm, a couple of water catchers, things like that. I mean, how deep does the crafting system go? I mean, again, just in case anybody's wondering, having not watched the first video, Gonzo really is more familiar with this game than me. I'm just really coming to it for the purposes of these videos, having seen it a couple of times before, so that's why I'm directing all the questions at him. That's why he's the guy with the mouse and the keyboard on this one.
Although I'm thinking maybe next time that we play through we should give you the mouse and the keyboard. I'm pretty sure you'll be able to do better. I really wouldn't
want to have you spend all this time establishing a character and setting up a safe house for me to get a hold of him and then die. The last time I went hands-on with the game, there was actually a bit of a bug in the game. It was one of the patches had just come out, so there were a few bugs that were fairly quickly resolved, but a problem that was introduced was that you couldn't drink directly out of sinks, and I ran around for about half an hour desperately trying to find some water, slowly dying of thirst, and then got eaten by a horde of zombies while trying to break into a house through the window. So if you want to see Nuno go down in that sort of way, by all means pass me the mouse and keyboard, but we might be on take 3 if you do that.
Again, I'm just kind of stalling for time here, just while you're explaining how terrible you are at the game, really. But you said that I had a soul. You were pretty sure that would pick up a soul.
I thought you had. I could have sworn we picked one up in the first run through with Max.
It's not looking like it.
Oh.
Which is a bit annoying. So what I'm thinking is we're going to have to see if we can maybe make a beeline across for the big warehouse again.
Okay.
From memory, you know, we should probably get into the habit of maybe watching our previous videos, just so we've got a better idea of what's happening in a bit more detail. I'm hoping that we might find one across at that large warehouse.
Well, it's not too late in the day. It's 20 to 3, so there's definitely time to go exploring.
I think so. We'll need to see if we can find something to have a drink out of as well. Need something to eat. Right, on the way we'll see if we can get into a house as well. Tell you what, we'll just jump across here. Now that smashed window doesn't fill us with confidence. That wasn't us, was it?
No, I'm pretty sure we've never been here. Oh, that's quite a nice property next door. I love the little front porch they've got there. That seems to be clear.
Oh, you son of a bitch. Right. Oh no.
It's all good. You've got it.
Living room looks clear.
I mean, that was intentional, really, just to... Okay, now this house alarm's going off.
Sod it. We need some bits and pieces. We're not going to be around here very long. We'll just grab some stuff that we need and we'll be on our merry way.
A boring salad.
Yeah, I think that's it's one of the sort of the recipes you can craft as well. You know, tied in with crafting, there's also different cookery recipes as well. Something I haven't really experimented with before, but they're in the game.
I imagine actually cooking something up with component ingredients will create something that satisfies hunger.
Yeah, it'll take care of more hunger. Usually it'll help out with your character's happiness as well. It's something we haven't really seen so far, I don't think, on the playthrough that we've had. But you can't have characters who'll get bored and they'll get depressed as well. You've got to try and keep them happy.
And that'll affect things like sort of like running speed and capability of actions and things like that.
Yeah, field of vision as well. Just, you know, if the guy's just kind of, you know, depressed and getting him up and around the place, he's not really paying as much attention as he should do.
Now, that wire fence there, could that be around the warehouse? Yeah, that's the big warehouse.
No, that's the storage shed warehouse, I'm sure.
Yeah, we were further north from there. Although, is it wide? I mean, I've just let you walk all the way here, but thinking about it, if we came here with Max and there was a saw, surely we would have picked it up.
No, I can't remember what we were grabbing last time. I think I got that fixated that we got the axe. We just went out and played with it for a little bit and then got killed. I'm going to have a quick check. If anybody's watching this video off the... Oh, you're fucking kidding me. If anybody's watching this video off the back of the one that we just recorded, they've probably got a better idea and they're probably screaming at the monitor now that we're being idiots.
That's true. I mean, it has been a few days and we haven't really watched the video back properly, other than a quick glance at certain sections of it just to see how badly recorded it was.
You know, if nothing else, if that doesn't
you've got a plank, which you can use to deal with that window back in the safe house. Well, the alarm's gone off, and I don't hear any rapping at the door.
I hear zombies.
You got better ears than me, mate.
To be fair, I'm sitting closer to the screen as well.
Well, it'll take a while before he busts in, won't it?
Fingers crossed. And I mean, if there's not too many of them out there, I'm not that worried. I'd rather have the zombies like banging on all the windows here than banging on the safe house.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, this might be a useful place to put a pin in and come back to if we get far enough into the game where we can think about setting a farm up, because there's a spade, there's
loads of seeds.
There was a watering can there. No saw though.
Doesn't look like it.
So if we don't find one here, I mean, it depends what you want to do. It's getting fairly late.
I think we can get back to the house. We've got that plank, we can do that window up. Oh, get in. There we go. Love it.
I'm wondering if that's where I saw it when we're doing the last run through the warehouse. Maybe I saw it and thought it had been picked up, but it hadn't.
And perfect timing, because one of those windows has just popped at the back of the warehouse there as well.
So out we go.
Sweet.
Yeah, well done. Excellent. So back to Kate and Ballspot and Max's old house.
Yep, Kate, Baldspot and Max, the strange CD love triangle of Kate, Baldspot and Max.
It's not a house where good things have happened, but I think we can turn this reputation around. The house of death and depression.
Now I'm pretty sure it was around here somewhere that Max went down, wasn't it?
It wasn't too far. I mean, he hadn't ventured far from the house before he got pulled to bits by the Horde.
What we're looking for is a topless zombie with lovely lustrous hair and moustache, and then we know that we're home.
I wouldn't go looking for Zombie Max. He was a tough guy in life, he'll be a tough guy in death.
It'll be the epic battle. We've got two topless gladiators here, one with delicious beard, as you can see, and Max obviously with his delicious moustache and chest hair. Yeah, I mean that would be the battle to end all battles, really. I think it's down here.
Yeah, I think it's a little bit further down, but we're seeing bodies, so we can't be too far away.
I just overshot again. I know it's deceptively.
There we
we
go.
go. I keep doing that. I keep forgetting how close this is to the warehouse.
That's because we sort of walked there and had a few fights and stop-offs on the way, whereas it was a straight run beeline back, which is why it was a little bit quicker. So let's get that window boarded up, and then, well, there's a little bit more time in the day. I suppose we could do a little bit of gathering of wood and stuff before we turn in for the night. It's not like there's any zombies around at the moment.
So we'll equip the hammer as a primary.
I can see how you could easily get lulled into a false sense of security as well when you've cleared out a lot of the zombies and everything's a bit quiet around the safe house. Most of the time you're not worrying too much, and then all of a sudden a horde can just pop in out of nowhere.
Oh, that was my bad. That was a pretty silly mistake. If you're going to build something, you need to make sure everything's in kind of the main inventory, which is the little box symbol rather than in a bag. So I was clicking then thinking, why isn't it going to let us build? It's because I had the plank hidden away there. Just I hope it is, otherwise I'm going to look like a right muppet. I think it might be the mouse recognition, maybe.
Well, go back to build.
Hang on, we've got nails.
Ah, no nails. No, plenty nails.
Nails. Got the hammer. Oh, is it something to do with that school bag, maybe? I want to equip that. No.
Click back on it. Well, you've got barricade on there. Can you not barricade a window that has been smashed?
It's looking like it now. I was convinced that you could. Let's just, out of interest.
Well, you got to build. What's bar?
It's because mouse recognition's off. So if I click over here somewhere, I'm pretty sure I should get the option.
What's getting me is that it had remove curtains as an option, which would imply that you were clicking on around about the right place.
Right, fuck it, I'm barricading something. There we go.
Yeah,
see?
so it's
I had to click over here somewhere.
So is it one board that you can put on each one, or can you barricade
You can put, I
it
think it's 4 or 5. I think you can put up to 5.
So you can really make the place secure.
Yeah. Now what we need to do is start collecting some of these logs in. Fortunately, let's see if I can get them to here, there we go. 4 of them, that'll weigh a ton.
Well, you don't have to carry them very far.
What we're going to do is pick them up, saw them to logs, and even though it's a little bit of a pain, see if I can maybe transfer some of them into the house. Equip that. So you can see, I mean, well over encumbered here.
Now you'll need to take the saw out of the bag.
Yep. And then just right click on the logs, saw logs. We can actually stack up some orders like that as well. So if we do it 4 times, or not, we'll just carry on doing as we're doing. So we're getting some planks here.
Oh, we're getting there. So you get a decent amount of planks per log.
Yeah, I think you get 3 per log.
I think you may have went overkill in chopping down all those trees.
It's just handy to do it. I mean, while you've got the axe out, you might as well make good use of it.
Yeah, might as well have a stockpile. So I think it could be time to turn in.
I'm thinking so. It's getting a little bit late. I mean, personally, ideally, what I want to do is just maybe throw up a couple more on the window there. But I'm thinking, yeah, what we'll do, we can come back and do that tomorrow in the light of day. It's dangerous to be just wandering around outside, just, you know, hammering nails into bits of wood in the dead night. Okay, but what we will do, we'll get rid of these planks. It'll just take a minute. As you can see, the heavier something is, sometimes it can take a little bit longer to kind of transfer across.
And you'll be slowed down as well, because your inventory space is currently at 40 out of 16.
Yeah, I'm surprised he's
significantly over encumbered.
Moving pretty well for being, yeah, that heavily laden, really.
Well, you know, he's a builder by trade, so he'll be a strong guy used to lifting and carrying lots of building supplies as he is.
if I can see a builder that can carry 12 planks, saw 4 logs down into 12 planks, and then carry those 12 planks around, I'm hiring them.
Yeah, but how big's a log and how big's a plank? How long's a piece of string?
You can't just throw rhetorical questions at us, even when I'm trying to have a little bit of a think here about what we're going to be doing next come morning. Should probably do a time check as well. Probably incredibly unprofessional, but how much time have we actually got here to do any more recording? How are we doing?
Yeah, we've got plenty of time.
Cool.
We've got plenty of time, and if needs be, we can split it down into 2 videos.
Sweet.
As long as I don't run out of hard drive space. So you're going to wake up hungry, have some breakfast. You've got some eggs in the fridge and or cupboard.
I believe for the purposes of the game we'll put them in the fridge.
Can you use the frying pan with an egg on the stove?
You could. Personally, I don't know if you can anymore. As I said, I don't tend to cook. My guy tends to eat raw onions, radishes. I tend to eat raw food, which is very wasteful. I think the egg, you have got to cook the egg, but I'm not sure if you've actually got to put the egg into the oven and then that would cook it. I generally don't tend to do a lot of cooking, to be honest. Take that orange soda just so we've got a drink and we'll refill that.
So I imagine if you were to eat the raw eggs, there's a potential it'll make your character sick.
Yeah. Pie for breakfast. There we go.
Now there is no finer breakfast than a piece of pie. Yeah, the mouse is quite a bit off there.
It's totally off. I think to be fair, I have been playing around a lot with the zoom, and I know it is something that needs fixing. So it's a minor annoyance now. I'm getting a feel for whereabouts it should be on the screen. I think I'm managing. Put the bottle of water in the fridge.
Well, if needs be, and if it's on things up, we could always do a quick restart. It shouldn't be much of a problem.
No, I think we'll carry on until end of video. We should manage.
Very well,
right
my friend.
time.
If you are confident enough, then I shall leave it in your capable hands.
Yeah, I mean, I can still swing the axe. I mean, that's kind of a crisis point. Tell you what, it is going to over-encumber a little bit, but I'm going to take a few planks here and maybe just whip around these windows. You know, I think just a barricade on each of the windows, maybe start getting...
A moodlet that I haven't seen has just popped up there.
This one's saying that we're over-encumbered there, as you can see, very heavy load.
And the movement speed highly reduced. Shouldn't be too much of a problem. We're in quick vicinity of a safe haven. There aren't many zombies around. None that we can see anyway.
There we go, I've got it down pat. I know exactly how far away it needs to be.
The sprites are actually quite nice, sort of chunky characters once you're zoomed in. And from a distance they are very small. But I suppose it's a useful thing to do, to view things from a distance when you're sort of travelling, you're out and about, and you need as much spatial awareness as you can possibly get.
Totally, yeah.
But for the little micro tasks like this, it is nice to get a good close-up view and see your character properly for what he is, really.
And I think as well, I mean, there's a lot of work that's been done on them. I know that the developers have been working a lot on making the sprites 3D. You know, there's a lot of players who've been struggling with the game. You know, on the face of it, you're thinking it's isometric, you know, kind of retro style 2D graphics. Oh, that's going to be fine. You know, you could play this on a potato. It's not really the case. I think we might have mentioned it last time, but there's a lot going on behind the game's curtain, so to speak. You know, and it does require a fairly hefty computer to be able to run fairly smoothly.
Well, there are thousands of zombies, and they're not randomly generated. They're not just spawning off the screen as you're walking onto the next screen. They are there and are constantly running in the background, as are their migration patterns and their movement.
Totally, yeah. So I mean, we've got all the metagame stuff, but not just that as well. It's because everything's drawn in 2D. 2D traditionally, from my understanding, and I'm not particularly technically minded, but 2D sprites tend to be very kind of CPU heavy. So as a result, the game is very CPU heavy, and regardless of something like having a top-end graphics card sitting in your machine, you know, you still might be getting terrible frame rates, and it's because that wonderful graphics card you've got in there is not being used. So one of the big projects that's kind of ongoing is to get the sprites looking 3D. The multiplayer videos we were talking about before, you can actually see some of the 3D sprites in there as well. It's led to really good performances for things like the lighting effects look fantastic, but the performance and the optimization of the game seems to be coming on leaps and bounds as well as a result.
So basically it's transferring some of the load away from the CPU and onto your graphics card.
Exactly, and balancing it.
And considering most sort of modern PC gamers have pretty hefty graphics cards installed in their computers.
Yeah, you want to make good use of it, of course.
Difference. I mean, we're running on a pretty decent system here. We're running in 720p resolution, which is the recommended resolution of the game. I haven't had any significant problems. I think we're running at 30 frames a second, but it's locked at 30 frames per second anyway. What we got in here, i5 2500K processor and a GTX 580 graphics card and 8GB of RAM, so not exactly top of the line, but a fairly decent system. And you can run on your home system as well, pretty
yeah, I mean, I'm sitting with a much older computer as well. It's the one that I kind of inherited. I've got 4GB of RAM, I've got a 2.4 GHz quad core just sitting as standard, not overclocked. And you know, kind of middle of the road AMD graphics card, nothing fancy. But the game runs absolutely fine on my system as well. But I'm hoping that we're going to see, you know, hopefully some performance increases as well, so maybe people aren't having to lock their frames to 30 and maybe can kind of jack them up a little bit. It would be nice to see. But just have to wait to see what happens with it, I suppose. I'm imagining, I could be totally wrong, but I think that's probably going to be a little bit of time off yet. I'm not sure if that's going to come out at the same time as the multiplayer stuff, or if that's something that's going to take a little bit more work. We'll just have to
well, it's at the point that most people can run it, so I think it's probably better at this stage for Indie Stone to focus on the gameplay improvements, but obviously optimization's a thing that they're looking at as well. So
yeah, and you know, I mean, you can imagine. I mean, from their perspective, you release something like this on Steam, the last thing you want is your forums clogged up with people saying the game doesn't work, or you know, I mean, even if we're thinking of some of the AAA titles. I mean, I know that the two of us have played quite a bit of Rome 2. When you think of something like the release of Rome 2,
well, you can say that about the release of any of the Total War games.
Yeah.
And I'm a huge fan. They're some of my favourite games, but
totally, yeah.
I'd be lying if I said that they run smooth out of the box every time.
Yeah, totally. And you know, I mean, that's a lot of work that you know, Creative Assembly did with Rome 2. But I think, you know, at the same time, you don't want an indie game coming out on early access as well. You know, still kind of fledgling, still in that kind of slightly vulnerable kind of position, really, in a lot of ways. You don't want, you know, kind of a community backlash, or you don't want loads of new players filtering into the game saying, hang on, I've got top of the range PC and this thing runs like shit, you know. So you can kind of understand where people are coming from.
It's kind of a catch-22 when it comes to these early release titles, these early access titles, because you have to strike a balance of not releasing the game too late. The whole point of early access is to get in early and be a part of the feedback and development process. So it has to be a ways from completion in order for that process to be a worthwhile one. But at the same time, you can't release it so early that it's barely functional and you're just going to get a massive backlash. I mean, I'm a big fan of the early access programs. I bought into a lot of titles early access. State of Decay, I got into that quite early, and there were a number of bugs with that, but it was still a very enjoyable, very playable game. Don't Starve, I got into that very early. Again, many issues, very far from completion, but it was a stable game that ran on the system and didn't have too many problems. I think most lately, with the exception of Project Zomboid, Starbound has been a great experience to be in from the early stages and
totally, yeah.
Watch how the game has developed over the last few months and get to be a part of that process, really.
As you know, as we're having a little bit of a chat here, you'll see that I'm starting to build a few basic walls as well. Oh man!
Oh crap! Did he get the bite on you there?
I think we got away with that. I didn't hear anything.
He came from nowhere. And again, there we go. As soon as you rest, as soon as you start thinking you're safe and secure and there's no zombies around,
you see the barricades go up on the windows and think, oh yeah, we've got this made, we're sorted.
Quick reactions though. I am impressed, mate. Well done.
There we go.
Nuno will live to fight another day.
For now, anyway. Awesome. So I think probably what's happened, that zombie's probably just kind of caught, we're kind of hopping over the fence, might have even been attracted to some of the construction noise. But you know, what I'm thinking is really a good ending point. I'm thinking if we can maybe just join this fence up, just do a little bit more construction, we'll build a little door frame. We'll not be able to build a door yet because we'll need hinges, we'll need a doorknob to actually build a door, but we can build this together, we can put a frame down. And
at the moment we're limited to some of the more basic constructions as well, is that right? Because we don't have the construction skills. There is a skill system.
There is a skill system, and as you'll see, the walls that we're building here, they kind of look like shit. As we get better with construction, we'll build stronger and we'll build better looking walls, but you know, we'll worry about that when we come to it. For now, we just want to kind of wall this off.
I know a lot of the skill system is based on the books that you can find. I mean, we've got a carpentry book in the house that we haven't yet gone into because it does take some time to study it. Do you learn on the job as well, though? Do you learn from doing construction?
Well, we'll double check. We can punch up the skills here and we can see actually we're doing okay with our carpentry there as well. What the book does is it'll give us like a multiplier, it'll give us a buff to collecting those points. Probably makes sense if we're going to play smart to go and read the book first.
But we've been nothing if not stupid in our playstyle so far.
Yeah, exactly. But I mean, you know, we should, yeah, by all means, we should go and read the book. To be honest, we'll just keep hacking at these logs and putting them up, and we'll get sorted. I think once we get up to level 2, we should build one of those rain collectors, and that's going to come in useful. We can plop one of those down. Should take care of some of our water issues as well. So, okay.
I think they're definitely being attracted to the construction noise because that one came running at you, it didn't come strolling along. So there we
go, just click the once. Wait for a little bit of time. Now I'm thinking probably just so we've got like a bit of a rat run. If I leave maybe a gap, maybe here to pull the doorway. What do we reckon? Just trying to kind of picture this in my head for the time being.
I don't suppose it really matters where you put the doorway. I'll leave that to your imagination.
Okay, I mean, I'm not sure why, but I want it slightly offset from the door. That just feels like the right thing to do. So that's exactly the way we're going to play it here. We'll need another one here. Okay, have we still got the materials? No, we're going to need to do one more little trip. I know it's a little bit repetitive, but you know, I think it's worth kind of looking into some of the work that goes into some safe houses. And if you see some of the safe houses, some of the amazing fortresses that people have already built, you can see that it must have took a lot of work to do, because this has taken a fair old chunk of time and effort and concentration and resources to get built. And basically, we're putting up a little crappy wall in one corner of the safe house here.
I think it's safe to say that we're now past the beginning stages of survival, and we're moving on to the intermediate stages, the finding yourself a relatively safe location, securing it up as best as you can. I mean, it's starting to feel like we are making progress compared to the run that we had with Max, which was just really getting started before it was cut short.
Yeah, I think you know, we're still not out the woods yet, and there's still a long way to go. But I think we're past the kind of the immediate stage of, you know, kind of like a threat to our survival. I think we're not doing too bad at all here, really. What else can we build? Not much. I don't think we've got really that much equipment. We want a door frame. We're going to need some more nails. We need one more plank. Is it worth it? Yeah, I think just for the sake of actually getting the door frame up, I think that's a pretty good position, and then maybe kind of wrapping things up and drawing things to an end for this playthrough.
Absolutely, sounds good. It seems a logical place to do it, and when we come back we'll be in a good position to sort of move on to moving beyond the basics and onto the sort of long-term survival strategies.
Totally, yeah. I'm thinking, you know, providing people are enjoying the series, want to see some more of it, I'm thinking what we really need to do is, now that we've kind of got this sorted, there's definitely a lot more construction that we're going to be doing around here, but we've, you know, I think that the sort of, certainly the past few minutes of the video, we've done a fair little bit of construction here as well, and I don't want to just kind of bombard people with just endless videos of construction work.
Yeah, we could do a fast forward montage if you want. I'm sure my limited video editing skills could manage something like that.
Well, in my head for some reason there, I just like imagined Rocky. When you used the word montage, and then I was imagining like 80s music, and it was just going to be like Rocky style.
The problem is, you see, we run against copyright infringement if we try and use somebody else's montage song.
Well, yeah, we'll go with
that. We'll just have to sing our own.
We'll just make one. You can play bass, I can play a couple of chords on guitar. We'll write one 80s power ballad and throw that up.
You know what, I don't think that sounds like too bad an idea.
Right, there we go, then that's a challenge.
This time next week we'll be rock stars.
Right, yeah, fair enough. Sounds good.
We're determined to get this door frame done. 20 past 8 and you're still going.
It just needs that last little bit. I mean, it's not going to make anything safer. I want it sorted. I'm not really an OCD kind of guy, but I suppose maybe I am a little bit. Right, 100 nails, there we go. These boxes of nails were a fairly new addition to the game, and I absolutely love them when I can find them.
Well, it makes sense that you would find nails by the box load.
Yeah, you never find like just 3. Well, unless you're going through like a toolbox or something, it's rare you would get.
Yeah, but you wouldn't expect to find 3 nails in a department store.
Yeah, door frame, that's what we wanted. So let's have a look here, see what we can do. Pop that there. There we go. And then also I'm thinking, if I remember rightly, I think if we go to build, can we build a pillar? I think if we put that down here,
just to make it look nice. And
just to make it look nice and close. I'd say, yeah, if, you know, we're maybe shit carpenters, but, you know, trying to be perfectionists there as well. Okay, we're getting a bit wet, it's getting thirsty, so I think we'll go in and then we'll start wrapping up the video.
Yep, some food, some drink, and then we'll set Nuno off to bed.
Cool. Okay. I'm trying to drop that plank from the cursor there. So I'm going to click over here for a drink.
You know what, this has been a really successful run. From the very beginning when you got scratched 3 times, and to put that into context, I think that's a 25% chance of infection per scratch. So that's pretty bad odds to have made it through. You never know, maybe Nuno's a natural immune.
Yeah, I seriously doubt that. Seriously doubt that. I'm sure that a zombie will come and put that to the test at some point. I'll tell you what, just out of celebration, we had some salad there. He's doing quite well. We're going to eat a little bit of a cabbage. There we go.
That hasn't done much for his hunger.
No, it would make me very fucking depressed if somebody made me eat a raw cabbage as well, to be honest. Okay, we'll lock the door there, and I think what we'll do is we'll pause up the video now and we'll kind of close things down for the afternoon.
Yeah, so a fairly successful run with the exception of Max's untimely death. But do hope you've been enjoying the videos so far, as rough and amateurish as they are.
Yeah, we're just hoping to kind of get better. I think we were kind of having a chat about the last video that we did, and we kind of agreed that it was a little bit excruciating to both make and probably to watch if anybody has kind of sat through it. But, you know, we're hoping to kind of get better and make our videos more interesting, and hopefully talk less like we've got kind of sticks up our asses as well, which I think I was a little bit concerned about in the first video.
It's a really strange thing when you're recording yourself, because even though we would quite happily sit and have a conversation about games while playing games, as soon as you stick a microphone in front of your mouth, you sort of freeze up and get a bit nervous, don't you?
Yeah, totally. But it's something that actually I'm really enjoying doing. The two of we've been friends for a long period of time. It's something we've kind of wanted to do for a while, and I'm glad that we're kind of putting it into action. And hopefully, if you're out there and watching this, you're getting some enjoyment from the video. So if you would like to show your support, you can drop a comment, you could drop a like into a video. Let me know what you think.
Want to see.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, ideas.
I mean, we're pretty free and easy. We'll play any game. We'll talk about any subject. Yeah. If 3 people watch this and 1 comments, that'll be a bonus for me. I'd be happy with that.
Totally, yeah, man. You'll make my day. So if anybody does see this, drop a like, drop a subscription if you'd be so kind as well to encourage her to make more videos. And yeah, we'll see you next time.
Yeah, thanks very much, guys.
Bye, everybody.
Bye bye. Sign off.